All right, handyman hustlers, today I'm going to take you with me on a few service calls and show you how we make some money. Now, ever since I've been doing these handyman type calls, I get a lot of calls concerning hot water tanks. Sometimes you'll get a call and the customer will say that the thing ain't heating up. Either the breaker has been kicked off for one reason or another, the thermostat ain't working for one reason or another, or you've blown a heating element. And more often than not, the heating element is going to be the culprit. And that was one of the first calls that I got today. So the first thing I did was lock up a hose, drain the tank. Next, I took apart all the wires and put the most expensive socket that you can do this with on the heating element, popped it off, put a new one in. Next, it was just a matter of reassembling this thing, filling it up with water, resetting the temperature, ensuring that everything worked right, collect my money, and go on about my day to the next call, which also happened to be another hot water tank. Many different situations that I'll get myself into where I am replacing the entire hot water tank because it's not a heating element, it's not a thermostat, but it is a corroded tank. And this one right here was leaking from the top of the tank. Now, a lot of these won't last quite as long as what the old ones did that used to be made in the USA because everything these days are made with Chinesium. Anyhow, I do what I normally do. I put a water hose on this thing and try to drain it out. Unfortunately, the drain valve was 100% clogged. It had sediment all inside of it. I put an air hose on it and it still didn't help. So I went ahead and started cutting out all the copper lines and went ahead and started stripping this thing down. The first thing I'll do is try to pull off any of the copper that can't be reused. I'll put it in a barrel whenever I get back to the shop because whenever I get enough of it, I'll take it to the scrapyard. I will salvage the useful parts on this thing because after all, the fail point on it was the tank itself. The useful parts is still going to be the thermostat and the pop-off valve. That way, whenever I go do work for other people, there's going to be certain people out here who cannot afford to pay for parts, but they can't afford to pay for labor. And whenever I get those types of clients, I'll help them out. I'll say, hey, I put you a part on here that was good, but it was used and I'm not going to charge you for it. That ensures you're going to get a customer for life right there. Then I stuck a dolly underneath this thing, welded out to the front steps. I took a pair of pliers and I busted that valve off there. While it was sitting outside draining, I went ahead and was installing the new one on the inside. The problem is most people could prevent this sediment buildup if they would just flush their tank out once a year. That's all it requires. Flush it out once a year. Drain the old water out, get the sediment out of it, put some new water in. It's no different than changing the oil on your car. If you don't change the oil on your car, you're going to clog the engine up and you're going to be replacing the engine. This is a very expensive mistake. This is why preventative maintenance is recommended because it can extend the lifetime of your product. While I was there was a few more calls in the exact same building that I went ahead and dealt with. There was a tenant that had a leak in their ceiling. It was the result of a loose firm coat. This was on the bottom of their bathtub. Whenever I got up there, I also determined that they had a leak on their shower head itself because somebody put the shower head on there without any plumber's tape. Whenever it was spraying, it was kind of spraying up on the wall, draining down, and then running in behind the tub surround. There was another tenant, probably 4 or 5 doors down, that said that the refrigerator quit working altogether. Show up, open up the door of the refrigerator, there is no light. First thing I do is go to the breaker box and realize they got a GFCI breaker that's hooked up to the refrigerator circuit. So I flip that breaker, I put in my multimeter and test the outlet. Everything says 120 volts. So this is a problem solved. Sometimes these jobs are quick and easy money and other times they're not. Now, if you was to call up a professional electrician to come out and do the exact same thing that I did, it's probably going to be $150 for the service call and $150 an hour when they get there, which is a total of $300 to flip a breaker on. So as a handyman, you could probably provide services at a cheaper price point, like $150. You can probably even go a little bit lower than that because you're already on the job doing several different jobs for them, and that's going to ensure that you've got a client that calls you first. That all really depends on your clientele, the area of the country you live in, and that sort of stuff. One thing's for sure, the more of these simple calls you get, the more money you're going to make. I even offer services for new tenants and new homeowners. I'll come in and look the place over. I'll inspect everything. I've even come in behind other contractors and inspected their work for certain clients. I'll basically make sure that everything works and everything was fixed properly for the owner. If I'm someone that they hire to come in and do a job, I will show them exactly what I'll do different than the contractors they've hired in the past. And whenever I give them the 110% deal, that means I'm going to take apart and fix everything. Whenever I get into that place and I leave that place, it's going to be 100% restored. I'm talking about deep clean and everything. I can go into a stove. When I'm done with it, it'll look like you just now got it delivered from Lowe's. Then other times I'll offer to go in and talk to brand new tenants or brand new property owners and go through everything in their house and explain to them how this stuff works. I'll give them recommendations. I'll tell them things that they should look for, things they should consider. Like before you go out of town, make sure that you turn off all of your angle stops, or at the very least, shut off the breaker to your hot water tank and turn it off. You don't want to leave home and then have a leak and it bursts and it ruin everything in your house. I'll show them where the angle stops are, where the shutoff valves are, where the meter is. I'll show them how to use the breakers, how to label the breakers if they're not labeled, how to fix a jammed up garbage disposal. Some people might have problems locking and unlocking their windows, pulling the windows out to clean them if they need to do something like that. And I will damn sure show them how to use and reset a GFCI breaker or receptacle. That way they're not paying $300 for an electrician to come out and flip a button. It's just another way you can make money. That was the basics of today's service calls. If you're thinking about going into the handyman trade, making yourself some extra money, won't you pop that clutch, subscribe, or check out these social media platforms. I'm someone who has 25 plus years of experience working in various jobs throughout the trades. This is a fairly new adventure for me, so I want you to come with me and check it out. But until next time, I want you to do 2 things, and that's keep saving and making money.